Introducing my next book bind, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I got this edition from Goodwill, so it only cost me like $3, and I am so excited to give this book a refresh and a new personality. I have some great plans. It's not going to be that terribly different because it's going to be black and gold, I think, so it will be pretty similar to the original. But what I'm going to practice on this bind is I'm going to reuse this chipboard. So this is already a hardcover edition. So I am not turning a paperback into a hardcover. I'm just reimagining this hardcover, but I want to do a different design on the front to make it more my style. So that is the plan for bookbind number 4. Let's go ahead and get started. You might be wondering why I'm even going to rebind this if I'm keeping the general design the same. Well, first of all, I have a little bit left over of this black imitation leather that I want to put to good use, so that's why I'm keeping the black. I love the color combination. I actually love this constellation on there, so I'm going to keep that general idea the same. Really, I want to rebind this because I hate the marketing that is so common with books today. So New York Times best-selling author, #1, I don't care. That means nothing to me. And on the back, where is the description of the book? This is so silly. There's a quote that is very meaningful and it entices me a little bit, but I hate author blurbs on books. I never read these. And in the rare case that I did, say, I love Neil Gaiman. I care what he says about this. He's paid. He is paid to say good things about this book. It's not a true review. And his opinion of this book doesn't tell me what it's about and makes me know if this is the right book for me. But it's like these are all paid things. They're just trying to pay their bills. So I really hate that about books. I hate that marketing scheme. So I'm happy to give this new life away from that. But also I'm just going for a different aesthetic with my collection of books. My ideal aesthetic is really these Easton Press editions. I don't know about the color scheme, but I like that all the heights are different and there's a little bit of variation in the design. So take this one example. This is my edition of Pride and Prejudice. I love the hubs on the spine, the design, the title. Even though the title isn't on the front of this cover, which I would like to start doing in mine, I want to do some kind of rendition of this. And each book has a different design, so it can each have its own identity, which is pretty cool. So this is the design that I'm going to go with for this bind. You can see that I have the constellation still, which is inspiration from the original book. But what's cool about this is that this is the constellation for Sagittarius, which is my zodiac sign. So I love that it is very personal to me. And I love this frame. This gives kind of that Victorian style that the Easton Press books have. I am going to put the zodiac on the spine, and I'm going to attempt to do like the hubbed spine. And then the back is going to be pretty simple. I'm just doing a quote in the same frame that's on the cover. I like the quotes on the back. I mentioned, hey, I can't tell from the quote what this book is about. Well, in this case, that's okay. As long as it doesn't have those silly author blurbs, I'm happy. I think this will give it a very, very classy look. Still kind of simple, but sentimental and keeps with the spirit of the book. So I am so pumped. Okay, I'm a little bit stumped on how to do this now, and I looked at all my YouTube videos where they're rebinding a hardcover, and I don't know if I see the answer. I don't know what to do with the end pages that are glued on here, so I think I'm going to try to just do the new end pages over it, and I really hope I don't regret that. I hope I don't regret that, or the fact that I can't get all of this stuff off here, like the glue and the end pages on the spine, on the text block. So I'm really nervous. I'm hoping this doesn't turn out too thick. So if I have the end pages and then, you know, I'm not taking off this cloth stuff. So this will be the imitation leather, the self-adhesive imitation leather. I hope that isn't too thick and like weird. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to just glue over this. Pray for me. There's also like a little bit of a design on this. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like birds on here that are like, what's the word, embossed. So I'm hoping that doesn't mess with the leather either. So there's a lot of variables here. I'm getting kind of nervous, but it's good that I can test it on this book. Ah, Goodwill. That's why we love you. All right, you guys, I'm cranky for two reasons. So firstly, weeding of the cover went really great until I realized there's a typo, a misspelling. LaRue versus LaRue. I swear I had checked the spelling before I printed this, and obviously I didn't. So I have to redo that, and I'm annoyed. And then also I was weeding the spine, the wording for the spine. And I don't know if you can see this, but the E and the W didn't come out for this. And then same for the title. The word invisible was peeling up. The V popped up. And it's really hard to find a spine font that works in the space because it is a smaller space. And so normally I've just been putting the titles this way because I can make the font bigger, but I really want it to go horizontal. So I need to find a font, not cursive because I don't want cursive, but I need to find like a print font that maybe is thick enough or something to weed okay and then fit on that spine. So I'm kind of cranky right now. I learned that if the iron touches the already applied vinyl without that plastic wrap, that it will burn off. So that sucks. I also learned that it didn't all quite apply. My eye is missing there. And although I fixed my typo here in the title, I forgot to fix it when I reprinted the title for the spine. So I don't know, I'm pretty disappointed is an understatement. Devastated might be more reasonable for how upset I am of how this one is turning out. I could always rip this off and do it over. I haven't secured the text block to the cover yet, so I mean, I could fix it. But part of me, I already know that this text block has a hole in it. So I think I just might proceed and just take this as a badge of honor for my progress and learning experience. And then maybe one day after some more practice, I can come back with a better edition of Addie LaRue and try and do her a little bit better justice. I really like my design. I like that the font turned out better. I changed the font on this so it actually fits on the spine. I love the constellations. I'm disappointed with how things turned out. But also, I'm not too keen on this self-adhesive faux leather either. So maybe I could try it again after I find the cover material that does work for me. And also, the corners just turned out so bulky with the overhang here. It was really hard to position it evenly because of that self-adhesive and trying to, start it with the spine and everything. So I'm not happy with how this is turning out, but like I said, I think I'm just going to continue and go with it and consider it a learning opportunity. here is how the book turned out, which you've been following along, so you're not surprised. As cranky as I was throughout this bookbind, I'm actually pretty satisfied with how it turned out, faults and all. I mean, I am a perfectionist in that some of these things really stand out to me and bug me, like how the vinyl is burned there and pulling up. And as we know, I'm silly and have a typo on the side, and that constellation kind of burned and peeled up a little bit. But overall, I'm really, really happy. I'm a perfectionist in that those things bug me, but it's not worth the waste of material to redo it, especially when I know that this book already has like a torn page in it, so it's already less than perfect. And look, this is not a tutorial, okay? Like, I'm not teaching you how to rebind a book, I'm just sharing my journey. And the journey means there's gonna be imperfections and there's going to be learning opportunities. So I need to be kinder to myself. So I'm okay with that. I am happy with how the hubbed spine turned out on this. That's something I've been wanting to practice so I can implement going forward. But I'm still messing with the right font on here on the spine. And I think that these hubs will become a lot more precise if I use something other than self-adhesive leather. So that's what I'm gonna try next. I already ordered another material to try. I think that makes this very, very difficult. And the other thing, I said I was worried about recovering a hardcover. And I think it turned out okay. It doesn't feel too thick or too bulky, except for with the corners. The corners definitely, I had too much overhang on the material, and that made the corners bulky. But like this itself with 2 end papers and using their chipboard, like, is not bad at all. So I am pleased with that. And this is one element I wanted to practice, is like rebinding a hardcover and reusing the same chipboard. So I practiced that. I practiced everything that I wanted to practice in this edition. So overall, I would say it is a success. And Miss Addie LaRue will stay on my shelf as a trophy for my learning experience with bookbinding. Thank you so much for joining me in this video as I stumbled through it, and I'll see you in the next bookbind.